What's going on, Spurs family? How everybody doing? I can't wait for this evening's game. This game is I want to see more of Serge Barry Rice. I think he can bring something to the team. He had a very solid first debut, his debut game with us last summer league game. He performed well, but I want to see him with more minutes, see him with more time on the floor, see if he can still keep that efficiency there. And if he can, maybe he start entering the minds of the coaching staff. I know he signed a two-way deal. He's from Texas, I think, believe Texas Longhorns. So he's somebody to look at. If I was y'all, I would look at Serge Jabari Rice this game. Keep an eye on him this game. But this video is about grading a few players. This was requested to me by Malik El Shabazz 3000. I think it was 3000. I forget his ad name. Let me go make sure. I wanted to get the name right. No, it's Malik El Shabazz 3200. And Malik Al Shabazz is Malcolm X's name. I don't know if you a fan of his teachings or not, but that is the name of Malcolm X. I wonder if that's what inspired you to which was named after, if that's your real name, and or if that's the name you use for YouTube. If you was it inspired by Malcolm X? Um, but anyway, he wanted me to grade these players. I'm gonna just give my personal opinion on these players. So I'm gonna go to my notes. Like Reggie Bullock's is the player I'm gonna start with. Now Reggie, he's solid on defense. He really gives effort on defense. He can shoot the three ball really well. That's what I like about him most. It's like career shooting is like 38%. That's well above the NBA average. So he can definitely knock down a three, and that's what we needed last year. That's exactly what we needed last year because we was bottom of the barrel with 3 point shooting, and I think we needed to add shooting to this team, and not only shooting, he can provide some okay defense. So I'll give this player I give him a C plus. This is a C plus pickups, and in terms of what we gave up for him, I mean, I think the trade was a B plus teetering to an A. We really didn't give up much for him, and he fills the voids. We don't have Keith Bates Diop anymore, and he helps fill that void as a veteran player who can knock down shots and play some solid defense. Uh, Sedi Osman, he's again another solid 3 point shooter. He's not as great as Bullock's is, but he can knock down a three. He's 35% for his career and has an effective field goal percentage at 56. So that's a great number. That is a great number to have an effective field goal percentage at 56. It shows that he's very effective on the offense end of the ball. He can play the pick and roll as the ball handler, and he can knock down shots coming off the screen. So he's pretty good, and he's also a solid defender. He had 1.9 defensive win shares, which would have led the San Antonio Spurs last year if he was on our team. He's also ranked 88th in percentile in opponents' points per possession, holding them to a 0.877. Holding them to a 0.877 points. Opponents also just shot 36.7% from the field when he's guarding them. So he's a solid, a very solid defender. For me, I give this guy a B plus. I mean, not B plus. I give him a B. I give him a B grade. I think he can. Again, he fills a void. The void. The thing I was talking about all year. And definitely all off season is we need better shooting and better defense. People was just players was just going by us like ease, just walking into the paint. And I think with Victor being in the paint and also acquiring guys like Sedi Osman, if he see floor time, it gives us more defense. It gives us more players who hustle and bustle on defense. And having a 1.9 win shares, opponent shooting 36.7% from the field when he's guarding them, that's good because we want to keep teams at shooting at a low percentage, and he helps that. But again, we got to reiterate, basketball is team defense. So take this in consideration. This is him guarding one on one when the opponent is shooting against him. But how good is his team defense? I don't know. I don't know that. And that's the same with Bullock. I don't know how good they are team defensively. And what that means is when he's off when the player he's guarding is off the ball, is he cutting off the defenders as they penetrate? And is he helping out? Is he rotating well? So these numbers don't really show that. And that's why I always say it's better to watch the game than look at the numbers, because these type of things don't show up in the numbers. How well he's rotating, how well is he paying attention when his player is off the ball. Those type of things. His ball denial. These things don't come up on the stat sheet. So that's one thing I want y'all to keep in mind when when I'm giving you these numbers. We have to see them play. And I'm not going to be a person that knows. There's a lot of players in the NBA. I'm not going to, be able to watch every single player. So I usually reference stats. So now as I'm referencing these stats, I want y'all to keep in mind that these, what they mean, what these stats mean in relation. Just because he's a good one-on-one defender doesn't mean he's a good help defender. And to win games and to be a good defensive team, you have to be a good help defender. You have to be a good team defender. For example, Stephen Curry is not a great defender, but he's a good team defender. You understand? So just keep that in mind. But it's good to have players who can guard up one on one when necessary. But team defense wins games. Okay. Lamar Stevenson. Lamar Stevens. He's another good defender. Solid defender. 1.6 win shares would have been definitely would have been leading our team if he was on our team last year as well in that category. He Players shoot 40% from the field when he's guarding them. Again, that's solid, but we have to understand team defense. That's one thing that's missing from this element. I don't have time to go into the scouting report looking in every single game to see how well his team defense is. But he's great, solid one-on-one defender. And the knock against him is his poor shooting, and that's been something that been plaguing him since. That was his knock coming into the draft, and that still really didn't improve. It improved some. I think he shot 30% from 3 point range. 3 point shots. He was 35. 30%. So it's not really. It's an improvement for him, but it's still subpar. So he's not really a great shooter, and so with him, I give a C grade. I was going towards a D, but for the fact that he's a solid defender, and he's what mid 20s, I think I'm gonna give him a fair C. Now for the trade grade to get Osman and Stevenson, I give it an A+. We still don't know what we gave up. We received these two players, and I believe with these two players, we also received the second round pick. What number? Like, what is the details of that? We don't know. But as far as what's been reported, it looks like we gave up nothing, and we acquired two players that could be that fills voids on our roster space. So, in our roster, roster space, it makes sense. So it's a good pickup. I get that trade and A so far until we figure out what we gave up. As far as I know, we gave up nothing. Um, so now these players is all going to be competing for minutes. I got my side notes here. I don't know why I ain't put them on my sticky notes on my laptop, but these players is going to be competing for minutes. How many minutes they're going to get, I'm not sure. I think Bullocks might see time because he's a solid defender and he's an excellent 3 point shooter. So I think he probably will get a little bit more of the time out of these players that I mentioned, Stevenson, Osman, Bullocks might get more of the minutes. We don't know yet. We don't know yet, because he is a knockdown shooter. But this is who I think going to get most of the minutes for our team this year. This is the players that's going to, take up most of the minutes, and that's Jones, Vassell, Johnson, Sohan, Victor, Graham, McDermott, Branham, Collins, Champagny, and Sandro Mamu. I think they're going to get most of the minutes. So these players is going to be competing, for those scrap of minutes. And I believe Bullocks might come up on top because he's the best shooter and he's solid defensively. Is he better? Is he a better defender than Osman? I don't know. That remains to be seen for me because I didn't watch much of these players last season. I was only by the Spurs package. Sorry. So, but I catch some games on TNT and stuff like that. So I'm not. I can't watch every last player, but so that remains to be seen. So I think those two will definitely Osman and Bullocks. I think definitely will get um, you know, out of those two, they will be fighting for the minutes. I think Lamar Stevens, unless he plays Bruce Bowen like defense, I don't see him getting many minutes at all. But again, this is my opinion. This is not. I mean, I'm not in the front office or anything like that. That's why they get paid the bucks and I don't. But but and we also want to note that these are expired. They're all on expiring contracts. So the front office, these could be just rental players, and if they perform well, maybe we'll give them a contract extension. But I think these are just rental players. I think this is a good way to fill roster voids, by at the same time filling roster needs, so we can keep that cap space open for next season, rather if it's picking up a decent free agent or resigning players. Because remember, Vassell is on an expiring contract, Sandro Mamu is on an expiring contract, Zach Collins and so forth is on an expiring contract. So it will keep that cap space so we can resign these players as well. So these players could just be rentals, but if they perform well, they can earn a spot and get in a new contract. So that's my thoughts for these players. I want to thank Malik Al Shabazz 3200 on making this request. I really was going to do this, but I really never found time to do it. And but since anybody requesting videos, I'm just going to make time for to do it. So I appreciate the request and. Look forward to tonight's game. I see y'all after tonight's game, giving my thoughts on the performances. I'm definitely going to be looking for Serge Jabari Rice. I think everybody should keep an eye on Serge Jabari Rice in tonight's game, and because I think he can bring something to this team. So I'm hoping they give him more minutes to see what he can do because he had a solid performance on his debut. So see y'all tonight. Peace and blessings. Hope everybody have a wonderful Sunday.